Evan Cole stood at the edge of the landing platform. The enormous starship behind him hissed as the airlocks closed. He adjusted his jacket and took a deep breath. Beyond the platform, the city of the Lufaris Empire stretched out in sharp angles and silver towers. The sky was a dull purple, and strange flying creatures moved above the city like living shadows. The view was beautiful, but Evan did not have time to enjoy it. He had a task, and that task would not be easy. Evan had come to the Lufaris Empire as a human envoy. Humans had rescued a Lufaris scouting team a few weeks ago, and this act of courage had opened a door. Now, the human government wanted to negotiate trade and peace agreements with the Lufaris, the galaxy's strongest wolf-like species. For most humans, facing a single Lufaris warrior would be terrifying. But Evan was trained, and he was calm. Still, he could feel the weight of every pair of alien eyes already on him. The escort led him through the city streets. The streets were wide, lined with tall buildings made of smooth metal. Strange lights shimmered in the walls, showing images of past kings and great warriors. Everywhere Evan looked, he could see Lufaris citizens staring. Their dark fur, sharp teeth, and yellow eyes made many humans uneasy. Evan ignored the stares and focused on his goal. At last, they arrived at the Star Hall, the central building of the Lufaris Empire. It was massive. Its high walls were carved with images of warriors in battle, hunting prey, and standing proud before the stars. The main entrance was a pair of enormous metal doors that opened automatically. As the escort approached, the hall smelled of metal and smoke, a smell that spoke of countless battles inside. The hall was even larger than Evan imagined. A long red carpet stretched from the entrance to the throne at the far end. The throne was high and ornate, carved from dark stone and decorated with symbols of the Lufaris kings. Round the throne, warriors stood in rows, their weapons at the ready. They wore armor that reflected the dim lights in the hall, and their eyes followed Evan as he walked forward. At the throne, King Varric sat, tall and imposing. His fur was dark with streaks of silver, showing his age and wisdom. His golden eyes looked over Evan with suspicion. Beside him, Princess Lyra, young and graceful, watched with curiosity. Lyra's fur was lighter than the king's, and her eyes carried both caution and intelligence. This princess had been trained to be strong and wise, and she had seen humans before. But never like this. The hall was silent. Not a single whisper. Even the guards seemed to hold their breath. Evan walked steadily, not bowing too low but showing respect. He carried no weapons, only a small satchel with the papers that could lead to trade agreements between humans and Lufaris. King Varroc's voice was low and commanding. "Human," he said, "you stand before me in my hall. You have crossed light years to bring words of peace. Tell me, why should I listen to a species that cannot survive without machines, that fears the wild and the strong?" Evan met the king's gaze. He did not flinch. He spoke quietly, but clearly. "I am here to speak with respect, Your Majesty. Humans do not fear strength, and we can survive the wild in ways your people may not understand. I come to offer friendship, not submission." The hall murmured. A few warriors shifted uneasily. Humans rarely spoke this way. Most would have bowed low or trembled. Evan remained calm, and that alone was unusual. Princess Lyra stepped forward. Her voice was gentle but firm. "Father, this human speaks differently. Do you wish me to follow tradition and reject him before we speak?" King Varroc's ears twitched, a sign of anger. "Yes, tradition is the law. Humans cannot be trusted. Reject him openly, and show the court that no alien species can command our respect without proving their strength." Lyra nodded slowly. She stepped closer to Evan. Her eyes met his, and for a moment, he saw curiosity there, not hostility. "Human," she said, "I must reject your offer. My people do not allow unions or treaties with species that cannot match our strength." Evan bowed his head slightly, his voice calm and steady. "I accept your rejection, Alpha." The hall went completely silent. Even the guards froze. No human had ever spoken this way before. The words were simple, but the meaning was profound. Evan did not protest. He did not argue. He did not plead. He accepted the rejection without anger or fear. King Varrock's ears flattened. His claws gripped the arm of his throne. "How dare you?" he growled. "Do you mock me? Do you think that a simple human can challenge my authority?" Evan did not move. He kept his head low, showing respect but not fear. "I mean no mockery, Your Majesty. Humans accept rejection as a part of life. A no does not break us. Strength comes in many forms, not only in teeth and claws." The king's roar shook the hall. Warriors stepped back instinctively. This small human, without weapons, without armor, had stood calm in front of the king himself. Varrock could not understand it. Humans, he thought, were supposed to be weak and afraid. Yet here stood one who held no fear, who did not bow completely, who did not flee. Princess Lyra's gaze softened. She remembered the story of the human who had saved her people weeks ago. The human had faced Lufar's warriors and managed to survive against impossible odds. Now, in front of her, he spoke as though he belonged here, as though he were not inferior. King Varrock's voice rose again. "Do you think your calm words are stronger than my throne? Do you think your small courage can outmatch the might of my warriors?" Evan shook his head slightly. "No, Your Majesty. I do not claim to be stronger. I only claim that fear does not always prove strength. Respect does not always come from domination. Humans survive in ways your people might not understand, but we survive," the hall whispered. Some warriors muttered among themselves. The tension was thick, heavier than the scent of smoke in the room. For the first time in centuries, someone in the hall challenged the authority of a king without fear, without anger, and without violence. King Varrock stood. His enormous frame blocked much of the hall. "Enough," he bellowed. "You will not leave this hall until I decide your fate. If you are unworthy, you will be cast out. If you are worthy, then perhaps." His voice trailed off. He did not finish, because he did not know. Princess Lyra stepped closer to her father. "Father, this human has faced danger to save our people. He does not demand submission, only understanding. Should we not give him a chance to speak?" The king's jaw tightened. He looked at the human, then at his daughter. Something stirred within him, a feeling unfamiliar. Respect, fear, confusion? He could not tell. Evan remained still. His calmness did not waver. He was not trying to impress anyone. He simply accepted what had been said, and he waited for what would come next. The hall seemed to grow colder. The air felt heavy with anticipation. Warriors whispered quietly. Some were curious, others angry, but all were watching Evan. Finally, the king spoke, his voice low but commanding. "Human, you will face a trial. It is the only way to prove your intentions and your strength. You will walk the path of echoes, and only then will we see if humans deserve our respect." Evan nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will face it." Princess Lyra's eyes lit up. She had never seen anyone face the trial with such calm determination. Even the king's warriors were uneasy. The human's courage was quiet, but it was undeniable. King Varrock leaned back on his throne, still uneasy. "Very well," he said. "Prepare yourself. The trial begins at sunset." Evan bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty." The hall fell silent again. Even though the trial had not yet begun, everyone could feel the tension. The simple words, "I accept your rejection, Alpha," had shaken the power of the king. It was a moment that would be remembered for years. As Evan was led away to prepare, he could hear whispers among the guards and elders. "Humans," one whispered. "They are not like us." "Yes," another replied. "They are strong in ways we do not understand." Evan did not hear the words. He focused on the trial ahead. He knew it would not be easy. The Path of Echoes was legendary for breaking warriors, even the strongest Lufaris. But he also knew that fear was not the same as weakness, and courage was not always shown with weapons. As the sun began to set over the Lufaris Empire, Evan looked out over the city once more. The towers glowed with soft light, and the sky turned a deeper purple. He took a deep breath and prepared himself for what was coming. The hall had been shocked by his words. Now, the trial would test not only his courage, but also the strength of the human spirit. And somewhere deep in the king's mind, a question had formed. Could a human truly be strong enough to face the Lufaris? Not just in battle, but in honor? Evan did not answer. He only walked forward, ready to meet the challenge. The sun dipped below the purple horizon, casting long shadows across the Star Hall. The hall was empty now, but the red carpet still glowed faintly under the soft lights. Evan Cole stood at the entrance to the trial chamber. The path of echoes lay ahead a long corridor known to break even the strongest Lufaris warriors. The walls shimmered with strange lights that formed moving illusions. Each illusion reflected fears, doubts, and past failures. A guard stepped forward. The trial begins. Walk the path, human. Show your intentions clearly. His voice was rough but respectful. Evan nodded. I understand. He took a deep breath and stepped into the corridor. The walls of the Path of Echoes shifted as soon as he entered. Shadows rose and fell, forming images of creatures he had never seen before. They roared and snarled, their eyes glowing red. Evan's pulse quickened slightly, but he did not stop. He had trained for fear. He had faced it before. Humans were not fearless, but they did not let fear control them. The first illusion was a battlefield. Flames rose from the floor, and ghostly soldiers screamed as they fell. Evan's own squad appeared among the illusions, their faces twisted in pain and death. He froze for a moment, memories of his past mission flooding back. He had lost friends here on Earth, and he had carried survivors through fire. His heart ached, but he did not falter. Focus, he whispered to himself. Fear is not failure. The illusions reacted to his thoughts. The battlefield seemed to intensify, flames rising higher, the cries growing louder. Evan took a step forward, then another. He kept his eyes on the far end of the corridor. The Path of Echoes did not punish him for bravery. It tested his mind. Every fear he held, every doubt, the path tried to bring them to life for soon. A second illusion appeared. It was a giant shadow of King Varric himself. The king's eyes glowed golden, and his teeth seemed sharper than ever. The shadow roared at Evan, shaking the walls. Why do you stand here, human? You are nothing. You are weak. You cannot survive among the strong. Evan squared his shoulders. Strength is not always teeth and claws, he said calmly. Humans survive in many ways. We do not need to dominate to prove our courage. The shadow of the king bellowed again. But the sound no longer shook Evan as it had a moment before. He realized the trial tested how humans faced intimidation, not how humans fought. The next part of the path was a room filled with mirrors. Each mirror showed Evan different versions of himself, some older, some younger, some injured, some failing in life's battles. In one reflection, he saw himself turning back, giving up before reaching the end. In another, he saw himself on fire, screaming in panic. Evan looked at each reflection and spoke softly. These are fears. They are not me. I have lived, I have learned, and I will continue. I do not follow fear. I lead myself. The mirrors trembled and then shattered, leaving only the glowing lights of the corridor. Evan felt a sense of pride, but he kept moving. He did not slow down. Every step was deliberate, every movement steady. The path tested his mind, not his body, and Evan understood that after the mirrors. The path opened into a chamber filled with sound. The walls vibrated, creating whispers of doubt. You are not worthy. You are weak. You will fail. The voices spoke in every tone, in every language. Evan could not escape them. They came from all directions, surrounding him. He closed his eyes for a moment and took a deep breath. Humans had a way of finding calm even in chaos. Evan focused on the silence inside himself, ignoring the voices. He stepped forward. The whispers grew louder, but his steps remained steady. The corridor seemed endless, yet he moved forward, never looking back. As he walked, an illusion of fire appeared again. This time, the fire was not real, but it looked so lifelike that Evan could feel the heat. Ghostly figures appeared inside the flames, reaching for him, screaming. His instincts told him to run, to turn back. But he remembered the words he had spoken in the Star Hall. I accept your rejection, Alpha. Evan whispered to himself, I accept it. I move forward. Fear does not control me. The flames vanished. The shadows disappeared. Only the path remained. He continued. Finally, Evan reached a room that was darker than the rest. The walls seemed to close in, and the air felt heavy. A massive wolf beast appeared, larger than any Lufar's warrior he had ever seen. Its teeth were sharp, its claws deadly, and its eyes glowed with rage. The illusion lunged at him, growling like the roar of 100 warriors. Evan did not raise a weapon. He did not step back. Instead, he looked into the creature's eyes and spoke. "I see you. You are fear. You are not my enemy. I accept you, but I will not be controlled by you." The beast froze. Its growls faded into silence. Its glowing eyes dimmed. Slowly, it shrank until it disappeared completely. Evan's heart pounded, but he smiled. He had passed the trial not by fighting, but by facing his fear. At that moment, a door opened at the far end of the chamber. Light flooded in, and Evan walked toward it. He could hear voices from outside the path warriors whispering, some with shock, some with admiration. Even the elders of the Lufar's court were watching. When Evan emerged from the Path of Echoes, the hall was silent. King Varric stood at the far end, his golden eyes fixed on the human. He was not angry now, only surprised. No human had ever survived the path without faltering. Not even elite warriors from other planets had walked through without trembling. Princess Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining. "You have done what no human or alien has done," she said. "You have faced the path and come through without fear controlling you. You have shown strength beyond what I imagined." Evan nodded slightly, bowing in respect. "I only did what humans do every day. We face fear, we accept rejection, and we move forward. That is how we survive." King Varric growled, deep in his chest, but he said nothing. The king's pride was wounded, but he could not deny what he had seen. The human had passed the trial with honor, not weapons, not strength, but courage and clarity of mind. The warriors around the hall looked at Evan differently now. They whispered among themselves, "He is not like any human we have seen." "Yes," another said, "he is strong, but in a way we cannot measure." Princess Lyra turned to her father. "Father, this human deserves respect. The trial proves that humans can be more than we believe. Perhaps we should reconsider our rejection." Varroc's jaw tightened. He could feel his authority slipping, yet he could not ignore the truth. This human had faced the impossible, and he had done it calmly. The king's ears twitched with frustration, but also with curiosity. Humans. They were stronger than he had thought. Evan lowered his eyes, still showing respect. He had passed the trial, but he knew the challenges were not over. The Path of Echoes tested courage, but the real challenge would be winning the trust of the Lufar's empire and its king. The hall remained quiet, as if everyone were waiting for the king to speak. Finally, he said, "Human, you have passed the Path of Echoes. Your mind and courage are strong. You may be considered worthy." The word considered was small, but it carried weight. It meant the king could no longer dismiss humans outright. It meant that Evan had made his first mark in the Lufar's empire, and that mark would not be forgotten. Princess Lyra smiled. "You have shown what humans can do. Let us speak of the future, not the past. There is more to learn and more to achieve." Evan nodded. He knew the road ahead would be long. The trial was only the first step, but he also knew something else. Humans were capable of more than the galaxy had ever imagined. Fear could be faced, rejection could be accepted, and with courage, even the smallest human could make giants rethink their strength. As the hall slowly emptied, Evan walked alongside Princess Lyra. She asked him questions about his journey, about his people, and about the choices he had made during the trial. He answered honestly, knowing that this exchange would matter more than any weapon or armor. The night fell over the Lufar's empire, and the stars above twinkled silently. Evan looked up at them, thinking of Earth and the humans waiting for news. He thought of the battles he had fought, the friends he had lost, and the courage he had found in himself. Tonight, he had passed the first great test. Tomorrow, the real challenge would begin, and somewhere in the heart of King Varric, a thought lingered. Could humans, with their strange ways, truly stand beside the Lufaris? Could they survive in a galaxy ruled by strength and honor? Evan did not answer that question. He only prepared himself for the next step, ready to show that human courage was a force the universe could not ignore. The hall of the Lufaris Empire was quiet the next morning. Sunlight fell through tall windows, casting long lines of light across the polished floor. Evan Cole stood near the entrance, waiting. Today, he would meet the Council of Elders. These were the wisest and oldest leaders of the Empire, the ones who guided the king's decisions and judged the future of alliances. Princess Lyra approached him, her step soft but confident. "You impressed the king last night," she said. "Even he cannot deny your courage. But courage alone will not win the council. You must show wisdom, patience, and understanding of our ways." Evan nodded. "I am ready. I will do my best." Lyra led him through winding corridors filled with glowing symbols and moving lights. The walls displayed images of past kings and great victories. Some showed hunters in the deep forests of Lufaris homeworlds. Others showed warriors in space battles among the stars. Every image told a story of strength, honor, and pride. Evan could feel the weight of history as he walked. Finally, they reached a massive chamber. The council sat in a semicircle, their faces serious and watchful. Each elder wore robes of deep red, gold, and black. Their eyes glowed faintly, a sign of their authority. At the center, King Varric stood, his expression unreadable. Evan bowed slightly. "I am honored to meet the council. I come in peace and with respect for your people." An elder with silver streaks in his fur spoke first. "Human, you have survived the path of echoes. That is impressive, but survival is only the first step. Many warriors survive. Few win trust. Why should we believe your intentions are true?" Evan took a deep breath. "I speak honestly. Humans do not seek to dominate others without cause. We value alliances because they make all parties stronger. When we say we want friendship, we mean it. I am here to show that humans can work with the Lufaris, not against them." Another elder, a tall warrior with dark fur and a scar across his face, growled softly. "Words are easy. Actions are harder. How can we trust a human who has never fought as one of us?" Evan smiled slightly. "Actions matter more than words, yes? That is why I faced the path of echoes. You saw my actions. I did not yield to fear, I did not run, and I did not lie. That is proof of my intentions. And if you allow me to work with you, I will continue to prove humans can be honorable and brave." The council murmured among themselves. Some nodded, some looked skeptical. King Varroc's eyes narrowed. He leaned on his staff and spoke slowly. "You speak well, human, but words and trials are not enough. Humans are clever, but cleverness can hide danger. Tell me, what is your purpose in forming an alliance? Do you seek our technology, our weapons, or do you truly care for our people?" Evan answered without hesitation. "We respect your people, your culture, and your strength. Humans want to trade knowledge, learn from the Lufaris, and share technology that can benefit both our worlds. We do not come to take or to dominate. We come to work together." Princess Lyra watched him closely. She could see that his words were honest. There was no hesitation, no fear, and no trickery. "Father," she said gently, "perhaps humans are not what we feared. Perhaps we can learn from them as they can learn from us." King Varroc's ears twitched in annoyance. He did not like being questioned, even by his daughter. "Words are not proof," he said sharply. "We must see action. If humans wish to prove their strength, they must do so in ways we understand. Physical courage is not enough. Mental clarity and problem solving are also signs of strength." Evan nodded. "Then show me the challenge, and I will face it." The council motioned, and a holographic map appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a nearby asteroid field, dangerous and full of shifting rock and debris. "This is the test of navigation," one elder explained. "You will guide a small vessel through the asteroid field using limited instruments." Many Lufaris failed because they relied too much on strength rather than planning. Humans are not strong like us, but they are clever. Let us see if that cleverness can save lives. Evan studied the map. The asteroid field was large, and the paths were narrow. One wrong move could destroy a ship. He traced a possible route with his finger. "I understand," he said. "Give me the controls, and I will navigate it." The council agreed. and a small shuttle was brought forward. The cockpit was tight but manageable. Evan climbed in, feeling the weight of eyes upon him. Warriors, elders, and even the king watched. He took a deep breath and powered the engines. The asteroid field simulation began. Rocks spun and drifted in zero gravity. Sensors blinked warnings of collisions. Evan's hands moved carefully over the controls. He did not rush. Humans had a way of thinking ahead, of predicting patterns, and he used that skill now. The shuttle wove through the asteroids. Some rocks came dangerously close, but Evan adjusted quickly. He calculated trajectories and used small bursts of thrusters to avoid collisions. Every move required precision and calm. If he panicked, the shuttle would crash. Outside the shuttle, the council murmured, "He is careful." Calculating. One elder said, "Yes," another replied. "He does not rely on brute force. He is observing, thinking, learning." The simulation grew harder. Larger asteroids appeared, moving unpredictably. Evan's hands moved faster, but his mind remained calm. He remembered how humans survived on Earth through teamwork, strategy, and quick thinking. He applied the same lessons now, imagining the best path through the chaos. Finally, the shuttle emerged from the asteroid field. The council watched as Evan powered down the engines. The vessel was intact. He had succeeded. The hall erupted in quiet applause. Warriors stepped forward, clapping their hands and patting him on the shoulder. Even King Varric did not speak, but his eyes softened slightly. Princess Lyra smiled. "You see, Father, humans do not need claws or strength to succeed. They think, they plan, they survive. That is another kind of courage." King Varric looked at Evan carefully. "You have survived to challenges now, the path of echoes and the test of navigation. You have shown courage, calmness, and intelligence. Perhaps humans are more capable than I believed." Evan bowed slightly. "I only do what humans do every day. We face challenges, we learn, and we survive. We respect those who are strong, and we hope to work together." The council nodded. An elder with white fur spoke last. "Humans are strange, but their ways are clever. Perhaps we can learn from them, as they can learn from us. The king should consider their place among us." King Varric grunted, but did not argue. He looked at Evan, then at his daughter. "Very well," he said slowly. "Humans will remain under observation. We will see if their ways can match our ways in other trials. For now, they have earned cautious respect." Evan exhaled quietly. It was not complete acceptance, but it was a start. One step closer to proving that humans belonged among the stars. Princess Lyra stepped closer to Evan. "You did well," she said. "But there will be more challenges. Our empire is not easily won over, and the king is not easily persuaded." Evan smiled. "I expected as much. I am ready for what comes next." The council dismissed him, and Evan left the chamber. As he walked through the hall, he saw warriors nodding to him, some whispering about his cleverness. Others watched silently, still unsure. But one thing was clear: humans were no longer seen as weak. That night, Evan sat with Princess Lyra in a small garden outside the palace. The stars shone above, and strange glowing plants lit the paths. "Tell me about your world," Lyra said softly. "Tell me how humans live, how they survive. I want to understand." Evan smiled. "We are simple in many ways. We rely on courage, teamwork, and hope. We learn from our mistakes and our successes. We are not as strong as the Lufaris, but we are clever and resilient. That is our way of survival." Lyra listened, fascinated. "Perhaps that is what we have overlooked," she said. "Strength is not only in teeth and claws, but also in mind and heart." Evan nodded. "Exactly, and I hope that humans and Lufaris can learn from each other. Together, we can be stronger than alone." Lyra smiled. "Perhaps, human, you are the beginning of something new. Perhaps your people will change our empire forever." Evan looked at the stars. He felt a sense of purpose he had never felt before. He was not just a visitor or a diplomat. He was a bridge between two worlds. And he would prove that humans could be more than the galaxy expected. As the night deepened, Evan and Lyra spoke for hours. They shared stories, laughter, and hopes for the future. The bond between human and Lufaris grew, quiet but powerful, a sign that respect and courage could cross even the widest distances. Somewhere deep in the palace, King Varric watched from his chambers. He did not intervene, but he listened. He could not deny the effect the human had on his daughter, on his warriors, and on the council. Evan Cole had passed more than trials. He had passed the hearts and minds of those around him, and in the silence of the night, a thought lingered in Varroc's mind. Perhaps humans were stronger than he had ever imagined. Not in strength or weapons, but in ways the galaxy had yet to measure. Tomorrow, the trials would continue. But tonight, humans had taken their first true step into the Lufaris Empire.